The text came through at 20:47 p.m., right as I was squeezing avocados in the produce section. Goodbye. Everything's in the trash. I read it 3 times, my thumb hovering over the screen. My daughter Claire, 24, Yale graduate, worked in marketing, didn't text like this. We didn't text like this. We were cordial. We did brunch on Sundays. We asked about each other's weeks with genuine interest, but not too much probing. We were the kind of father and daughter who had figured out how to love each other from a distance. I abandoned the cart, left it right there between the limes and the grapefruit. The drive home took 12 minutes. I ran 1 red light. My hands shook at the next one, and I gripped the wheel so hard my knuckles went white. 30 years of being a divorce attorney had taught me to stay calm, to think through problems methodically. 30 years of being Claire's father had taught me nothing about what to do when your daughter might be in actual danger. The house was quiet when I got there. Too quiet. I called her name twice before I saw her. She was sitting in the living room, cross-legged on the white couch. The expensive one from Italy that she'd always hated, that I'd bought during my second marriage to Janet. Because Janet had excellent taste and terrible judgment about what makes a house a home. Claire was surrounded by trash bags. Actual, black industrial trash bags, stuffed to bursting and piled like sandbags around her. Claire. She looked at me. Her eyes were red, but she wasn't crying. She was angry. I recognized that look because I saw it in the mirror sometimes, back when I still got angry about things. Hi, Dad. What happened? Are you okay? Did someone? I'm fine, she said. I cleaned. I looked around the room. It was immaculate, not the obsessive, compulsive kind of clean that Janet had imposed when she was trying to feel in control of her life. This was different. This was intentional. Every magazine was gone. Every throw pillow that had been scattered across that Italian couch. The side table where I'd left my reading glasses and my phone charger was bare except for a lamp. The bookshelves, once crammed with volumes I'd meant to read and books I'd actually read, were completely empty. You threw away everything. Not everything, Claire said. She gestured to 5 smaller bags, neatly aligned. Those are things I think you should keep. Some of your books. The photo albums. That painting I did when I was 8, you know, the one of the house that actually looks like a crime scene. A ghost of a smile crossed her face. I kept that. Claire, talk to me. What's happening? She unfolded herself from the couch. And I noticed she was wearing my Columbia Law sweatshirt, the one from my school days. It hung on her like a robe. She said, his name is David. He's a financial advisor. Very successful. Very organized. Very minimal. I waited. In law and life, silence is a tool. You let people fill it. He came over yesterday, she continued. Picked me up from work. First time seeing the apartment. He walked through every room, and I watched his face as he looked at all of this. She gestured vaguely at the room, at the space now emptied of everything that had made it lived in. And I realized something. What did you realize? That I've been carrying your stuff around for my entire adult life. The words landed differently than I expected. Not as an accusation, but as an observation. A diagnosis. My stuff. Not your stuff, Claire said. Your clutter. Your refusal to throw anything away. This thing you do where you keep things because they might be useful someday, or because getting rid of them feels like admitting defeat. You've been divorced 3 times, Dad. 3 times. And do you know what every house looked like? Overstuffed. Packed. Like you were still holding onto the version of your life that didn't work, just in case you needed to go back. I sat down on the edge of the couch, the one now stripped of personality. When Janet left, you kept her books. When Karen left, you kept the dishes she picked out. When my mom moved on, you kept everything that proved she was ever here at all. And I grew up in that. I learned that keeping things was how we keep people. Claire. So when David walked through that door and looked at my apartment like it was a museum of attachment disorders, I realized I was doing the same thing. I was keeping magazines from 3 years ago. Candles I'd never light. Throw pillows my mother had given me that I'd never actually liked. And I was doing it because you taught me that throwing things away means letting go. And letting go means nobody loved you in the first place. The silence that followed was the kind that makes you hear your own heartbeat. I talked to my therapist, Claire said. Dr. Morrison said something. She said that you can't grieve and hoard at the same time. That hoarding isn't about keeping things. It's about being afraid of what you'll find if you stop moving around them. What you'll have to feel. So you threw away your entire life. No. Claire moved to the bags I was supposed to keep. She sat beside me on that stripped couch. I threw away her apartment. And then I cried for 2 hours. And then I called David and told him that if he couldn't love a person who needed candles and throw pillows and books stacked in corners, he could call someone else. Did he call someone else? Immediately. Turns out he also couldn't love a person with a therapist and honest feelings. Despite everything, the garbage bags, the emptiness, the accusation wrapped in truth, I laughed. It came out like a bark. I was angry at you, Claire said. When I texted you that, I wanted you to come home and find something. Some kind of confrontation with all the stuff you've surrounded yourself with. But mostly I was angry at myself, because I'm 37 and I'm still making my life choices based on your failures. You're 24, I said. God, Dad, you don't even know how old I am. That's almost funny. It wasn't funny. It was accurate. I looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time in maybe a year. She looked smaller in my sweatshirt, more vulnerable, but her eyes were clear. She'd cried, but she'd moved through it. She'd made a choice and lived with the consequences in the span of a few hours, which was more than I'd managed in 60 years. What do you want to do? I asked. I want you to help me carry these bags to the curb, she said. All of them. The ones I'm keeping too. Because I realized I don't actually want to keep anything of yours. I want to keep the painting because it's mine. Because I made it. But everything else. She stood up. I want my apartment to be mine. And I want you to go home and look at your house and decide what actually matters. We worked in silence for an hour. Carried bag after bag down to the street. It took 3 trips to get them all out. My back ached, and my knees made sounds like something was breaking inside me. Claire didn't help much. She sat on the curb and directed traffic, told me which bags were which, made jokes about the weight of my accumulated grief. When we were done, we sat on the steps of her building, and I realized I didn't know the names of her neighbors, or what she did on Saturday mornings, or if she was seeing anyone. All the questions I should have asked. I'm going to disappoint you again. I said, yeah. Claire agreed. Probably. And I'm probably not going to throw away everything in my house? Probably not, she said. But I'm going to try. She leaned against my shoulder, and we sat like that as the afternoon light changed. Not fixed. Not healed. But honest. Which was something. When I got home that evening, I stood in my own living room, stuffed with the accumulated weight of 3 marriages and 6 decades of caution. And I started with one shelf. Just one. I took every book down, looked at it, and asked myself a real question: do I love this, or am I just afraid? The trash day wasn't until Thursday. I had 4 days to figure it out. By Thursday morning, I had 8 bags. Not much. A drop in the ocean of my life. But it was a start. Claire came by to watch me put them on the curb. She didn't say anything, just squeezed my hand. 8 bags, she said finally. 60 years to sort through, I said. Give me time. She smiled. A real smile. The kind I'd forgotten she had. Okay, Dad, she said. I'll give you time. For the first time in longer than I could remember, I believed her.